And hello, everybody out there in YouTube and Facebook world. It is time for Tuesday Talks. And my name is John Robinson. We're just getting started here. So we got a couple of people that are jumping on. We're going to give them time to get on here. But let's see here. I'm checking out my YouTube channel, making sure that we're linked up. If you are here and you're on right now, I can see one person here. If you're here and you're on, if you wouldn't mind, just make a little post. Let us know that you're here and that you can hear this okay. Sometimes this technology stuff is it's pretty cool, but it's also can be very it can be a little bit cumbersome. So let us know that you can hear us and that everything's working okay. Just giving everybody a chance to jump on here. Okay, we got a couple of folks on YouTube. If you're here and you're with us, then say hello. Let us know where you're coming from. Let us know what it is that that you do. Hey, John George is there. Hey, John, nice to see you there. Happy Tuesday to you as well. And we're going to give a couple more people a chance to jump on before we jump into it. I kind of wanted to start off today a little bit differently than what we normally do. There's the Renovate guys. Trying to remember who that is. Is that let's see, you got to remind me again. I think that I always forget the name of the Renovate guys. I know it's I think it's the fella up in Washington, so in Vancouver. So I'll give him a chance to jump on here. And yeah, Andy, sorry, I was always like I think it's Andy, but I don't know for sure. So yeah, good to see you, man. What are you working on today, Andy? I know that you've probably got something you're working on right now. I was talking to Jess a little earlier, and actually, Andy, this is a good reminder. I'm glad you're on here today because I want you to follow up with me. I've got something I'm cooking up here that I'm thinking about doing. Most of you guys know my background is construction, and so I have kind of I lean toward wanting to see construction guys succeed, and I've got some ideas for making a kind of a collaborative, collective co-op. I don't know if it's what we're going to call it, but I'm in my mind that's what it looks like. A kind of a collaborative co-op for construction people in the PDX REI group. So if you're in the PDX REI group and you are like Andy and you have a licensed, bonded, insured construction business like he does, the Renovate guys. Andy says he's remodeling 2 bathrooms right now. So by the way, guys, and by the way, Andy, free marketing here, free advertising. But if you guys are in the market for a bathroom renovation, kitchen renovation, Andy is definitely someone who's out there doing that. Particularly, he's up in the Vancouver area. And then I know we've got Jess and his partner that are down in the in kind of the Salem area, but I think they're working pretty much all of Portland. So that's Jess and Rolando. And because of the fact that I'm already working with a couple of people in the PDX REI group, I've been thinking about, and then we have Robert Harden, who is obviously Indigo Construction. They've got a full blown sheetrock mudding taping business. They can just knock stuff out. So I've been thinking about putting together a kind of a co-op of different vendors in the construction space that we know, like, and trust, people that we've met at the meetups. Like, they couldn't get into this group unless you were we've either come to meet up semi regularly, or at least we've been there. You've been there enough times for us to get to know you. So that's just one of the ideas that I have right now, and I wanted to kind of get your feedback. You guys let me know in the chat if you think that would be something you'd be interested in doing. I'm kind of curious what the feedback would be. There's nothing worse than Myron Golden, one of my business coaches, says there's nothing that basically you don't want to build a business or launch an idea from your head, right? You don't want to do something that's just from your head or even from your heart. You really want to do something that's a response to market demand. By the way, we could talk about that a little bit today. What is the market telling us that it needs? And then, kind of putting something together based on that, as opposed to just putting something together that we think would be a really cool idea. So I don't know, maybe it's just me, kind kind of daydreaming and wishing that I could do something to help out construction guys, and knowing that some of you guys are out there and you're busting your butts, and you're good, honest, hardworking dudes and ladies, and you could definitely use all the help you could get. So it's just been, I've been mulling it over, just thinking about it, so I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I got a couple people that are on now, so I think we'll just launch right into it. But like I said, I wanted to start out a little bit differently today by having you guys tell me what it is that went well for you in the month of January. So we are now an entire month into 2025. That means we're down to 11 months left in this year. It's going to go by just like that. And so I want to hear from you guys. What went well for you in the month of January? What was something that was a success? What was something that you guys felt like went really good for you? I know that for me, I was working on putting together a team, and I've got a couple of people that I've been working with now, and things are starting to kind of shape up. If the team can just get the team leader to show up and tell them what to do, I think it'll be really good, right? So always take full ownership on everything. But what went well for you guys, and what is it that you felt like, if anything, in 2025, did anything different happen, or anything that's just like, hey, this is totally different than what I'm used to? Just be curious, because here's one of the things that I've learned. A lot of times as we face the new year, we already talked about how to make it a great year. And then you get launched into the new year. By the time you get to the end of the first month, by the time you get to the end of the first quarter, sometimes it can just feel like the same old, same old. So what went well for you in January? And I want to know, like, maybe a little bit about, if someone wants to pop on here, I'd be happy to bring you on if you guys have a good internet connection. And just want to find out from you guys, what is it that you felt like went well, and maybe are you going to be doing more of that in 2025? How do you see yourself doing more of that? Let me just I'll go first. For me, like I said, I worked on, I knew I needed to started getting the team back together, and really start having some other people help share the burden, share the load of what's going on with me and my business, and then also what's going on in the PDX REI group. So I know for me personally, just starting to just assign things to certain people, and then even finding the right kind of people. I've talked to a couple people that looked like it might have worked out, and then it didn't. And then I've talked to a couple of other people that maybe I wasn't quite sure if it was going to work out, and it did. So that was a big win for me personally, is really start building out an actual team. And then another thing that has gone really well for me so far is kind of starting to connect in my network, kind of reaching up on my network, the ladder of my network. So you guys probably know. Oh yeah, here we go. Andy says, made more connections with high level people. So Andy, what do you, when you say high level people, are you talking about like just kind of like higher end clients, or just people that are doing stuff that you wanted to do? So Andy with the Renovate guys says, more connections with high level people. I love that. Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that. Like, what kind of high level people? If you're getting better customers, here's something. We've talked about construction people, so maybe I'll just park on this a little bit today. Oh, I got an itch in my nose, so forgive me. But here's something that that I discovered, and this was, it took me a long time to actually believe this, but I discovered, and you guys can chime in here if you want to, I discovered as a construction guy, a contractor, that it's actually easier to get people to write a $5,000 check or a $15,000 check than it is a $500 check. Let's say that again. I discovered as a construction guy, as a contractor, someone who's been in the business since I was on a job site with my dad when I was probably 10 years old down in Springfield, Oregon. Some of you guys have been down that way, Springfield, Eugene, Corvallis. That's where I grew up. And my dad was a framing contractor, so he framed houses for a big general contractor. That general contractor, he built out what we call spec homes. by the way, prize, if anybody can tell me what spec home stands for in the chat. If you guys know what spec home stands for, I want to see who we have in the chat that knows what I'm talking about. So my dad was a framer who built houses. He framed for a general contractor who was building spec homes down in the Springfield area. And at the time, the guy was the biggest general contractor in the area. So for my dad, it was good, consistent work, and he brought my brothers and I on the job. I'm the oldest of the three brothers, and so I was out on the job site since I was about 10 years old, and so I kind of naturally learned how to do construction stuff. Then my dad actually started doing his own spec houses. Still kind of still waiting for somebody to post it. What does a spec home stand for? Let's see if anybody knows what that stands for. Post it in the chat if you know. But my dad started building his own spec homes. And as a result, I learned how to do pretty much not just the framing, but every aspect of construction. There's Bob. Yeah, Bob for sure knows what it is. Speculation. That's right. So a speculation means you're not building it as a kind of a track home, a part of a large, like a lot of the developments you guys see nowadays. Although those could definitely be speculative, but it's basically as opposed to building a pre-sold or a customized house. So John George says building a standard building plan that a builder repeatedly builds. Yes. Or it could be, John, it could be like Bob said, it's just a speculation build. So it's not necessarily even just a standard build, although that's definitely a safe way for guys to do it. But that's the way my dad did it. So my dad built spec homes that were pretty much, he had like the same 5 blueprints, and we just built them over and over again. Then my parents moved to Alaska in 2000, and we built out an entire subdivision up there with those same 5 floor plans. We built out, I think, about 30, 40 houses, which isn't a lot by some people's standards, but it was enough to really get familiar with that floor plan. But like Bob is saying here, Bob Bosher, if you guys don't know him, you need to go follow him. He's got a lot of great content on his channel. Definitely in the building business and the renovation business. He works with a lot of guys at a higher level. And what Bob is saying is basically you're just building it to sell it. So like when I moved to Idaho to get married, my in-laws we're actually building exactly. Bob says speculation on the open market. So my in-laws built in 1999. My in-laws they broke ground on a house on a lot. So they bought the parcel of land on a brand new golf community course. So it was like right on the green on this golf course, this brand new golf community here in Idaho. And so they built in 2000, they put on the market a $1.3 million speculative home for sale. So in other words, they finished the entire thing and then they put it up for sale. And someone would say, well, why in the world would you put $1.3 million into a house that you hope to sell? Which, by the way, in the economy in Idaho in 2000, I mean, this is back when, just a comparison, my wife and I in 2002 built, or 2001, we built our first house. For the dirt, for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, customized home with tile countertops, basically, different colored trim paints and everything. We built our house all in $115,000. That was for the lot, for the materials, and then I paid myself for labor and paid my subs. So a $1.3 million house in 2000 was just outrageous. It'd be like the equivalent of going and putting on the market like a $3 million house and hoping that it sells. But what my in-laws did, and it sat for quite a while. I think it actually sat for 8 months before it sold. But here's what they did. They were high-end home builders here in the Treasure Valley. And what they did was they used that house to basically kind of showcase what they could do. So they tricked it out completely. They did a full-blown home theater with Crestron control panel and all the blinds that went up and down. I mean, they had the thing completely tricked out, huge, 36-inch travertine tile floors and stuff. And the reason they did that is so that they could capture leads for new construction, custom home builds. So even though they weren't really necessarily speculative builders per se. They were actually custom home builders. They built a spec house in order to get more customers. So how did we get off on all that? Well, the reason why I brought that up is because my dad building spec homes, and then we moved to Alaska. I pretty much grew up in the construction job site. I know what it's like to be out there on the job. I know it's like you got to get the job done. I've been out there many, many times in the pouring rain, the freezing cold. In Alaska, we were putting up, I remember one time we put siding up on a house that had to close in early January, and we were trying to get it all done before Christmas so we could take a little break. And so I was out putting up lap siding on a house. It was 35 below zero. So you guys are maybe hovering around 30. It gets cold around 20 degrees. You keep going down to zero and then keep dropping down to negative 35 degrees. And we're putting up siding on the outside of the house. So we literally had to cut our piece of siding inside the garage. We cracked open the overhead door, slid the siding underneath, slid our nail guns underneath. And by the time we got the door kind of down and went back out, got the stuff and picked it up and got it nailed up, the air hoses on our nail guns, you could literally just snap them and break them. So I guess I'm saying all that to say this. If you guys are out there in your construction world, I know Andy with the Renovate guys. I know Jess with, I can't remember the name of his company, but they're doing stuff. I've met a lot of you guys, Rolando. I know you guys are out there, you're working hard. And so it's been in the back of my mind, like, how can we do something in the PDX REI group where we create a community for builders and contractors and handymen and plumbers and electricians to kind of work together and be able to kind of, have a little co-op where you guys are sharing leads on different projects and kind of, referring each other, and have it be totally free for you guys to be involved as long as you're kind of active in the PDX REI group. So that's what's been going on in my mind. And I've been trying to figure out a way to do that. And I just, like I said, I would love some feedback from you guys if that's something that if you think would be valuable. If you guys aren't in the construction world, or you're not really, you got your own subs and you're totally set, then it may not be as important. But I think that there should be some interest from some of the flippers, and even just to have somebody that you guys know, you could just, go into this group and you could have somebody out to walk your projects and give you at least a ballpark estimate. How many of you guys struggle? Raise your hand in the group or make a post if you struggle with the cost of renovation. So maybe make a post at rehab costs if you have ever wondered, am I calculating the cost on this renovation correctly? I'm thinking there's probably some people that could really use this type of service, or at least access to these types of people that could get those numbers for them. So, but having said all that, let me go back to what went well for me. So I personally had in fact, last week I couldn't do our weekly. I really wanted to. I tried to make it happen, but I was down in Utah, Park City, Utah, up in the mountains. You guys, if you follow this kind of stuff at all, which I don't really, but long story on how I got there. But the Sundance Film Festival was happening last week in Park City, Utah. I was down there on kind of a twofold mission. So one was working with a nonprofit that kind of collaborates with the Sundance Film Festival group. And then the other was to look at some high-end properties in that market. So I know 3 or 4 guys and a gal that have high-end homes in the Park City area that they put out for renovation. By the way, if you guys saw the walkthrough on the $4.4 million house last week, let me know what you thought in the chat. I'm going to save and see what you guys say, but I'll give you my comments on that in a minute. But the point is, I was down in Park City, Utah, and one of the things that I really wanted to do this year was start connecting with, this is my thinking. So start connecting with people that have a need to have a place to put their money. Okay. So I'll say it again. I wanted to connect with people that have a need, and I say a need, not just a want, but they have a need to have a place or know a person where they can park their money in a safe way and get good returns on it and still get access to their money when they want it. So, we all know the value of hard money, of private money. But I've been thinking to myself, okay, I want to start going outside of the world of real estate per se, or specifically, and start finding people kind of in a higher end type of area. So I just so happened to be in Park City, Utah last week, and I was able to be in proximity. I'm going to talk about that in a few minutes too. I was able to be in proximity to some people that have some pretty deep pockets, and they have uh, so basically they have money problems. And I don't mean the kind of money problems that a lot of us have, but the kind of money problems that exist from when you're making so much money and you need to have a diverse portfolio, a diverse place to put it. And even if you have your business that takes care of all that, most of these people are high income earners themselves personally, and they wouldn't mind having a place where they can put their money. So one of the guys that I met last week was, well, I don't want to drop names here, but and I'm not going to do that. But I did meet one of the co-founders of OtterBox. So if you guys have ever had a OtterBox cell phone case, got to meet those folks. Super amazing people, really great folks. And I actually had a mutual connection through some stuff with the eMyth Entrepreneurs Coaching group, if you guys have ever seen that. But so yeah, I was able to connect with some of the folks from OtterBox. I was also able to connect with a true blue Texas oil billionaire. Okay, so and I will just say this right now. You guys would never have imagined that this guy was a Texas oil billionaire. I'll just put it that way. If you walked in the room, it just looked like just a kind of a sweet old grandpa. Didn't have the Texas vibe. It wasn't kind of all Texas, ranched out, or Texas oil people. Just a sweet guy. And I got to talking to him. Didn't even really know who he was, but I got to talking to him and found out that they made literally billions in the oil industry in years past, and they now have so much money, and that they have a family, what they call it, a family office, and that money has to go to different places. They buy real estate all the time, all over the country, just because they need places to put their money. And he personally has, several $100,000 that every year he likes to kind of, play around with. And so I say that to say it's amazing to think of the kind of problems that people have that are problems that you and I maybe never even really thought of. But there are people out there that have those types of problems. And I wanted to actually meet some of those folks because of the fact I want to be able to have a place that and let them know, hey, there's a resource that if you ever wanted to direct any of those funds toward a particular type of vehicle that will allow them to get the money that they need, and also allow them access to get that money in pretty short order. So we're typically talking 1-2 year terms. And then also just have a place where they know that a resource where they know when they need properties, or they have a buy box that they're trying to have their administrative people, fill a need, and then they know that they could use myself and my network as a resource for that. So I want to say that January was really good for me, but I want to hear from you guys. What was January like for you? And if you have any major wins, I'd like to have you guys post that in the chat. So while you guys are posting that, I want to switch gears a little bit. By the way, did I miss anything? Let me check the chat real quick. Make sure I didn't miss anything here. Not sure if you guys can hear me. If you guys are watching on YouTube, would you comment YouTube so I kind of know where you're watching from? I'm just curious to see, because the way this StreamYard works is sometimes I can't really tell if it's coming from YouTube. I probably should be able to tell, but if you're watching on YouTube, comment YAT or YouTube, and if you're watching on Facebook, maybe just let me know. Give me an FB or something like that. I'm kind of curious what our audience is, where they're coming from. Anthony says he's watching from YouTube. John George, YouTube. Okay, perfect. Tyler says he's watching Facebook. Tyler, can't wait to meet you, bro. By the way, you should get together, Tyler. You should get together with Jess. He's down there in the Salem market, and I think you guys would definitely benefit to knowing each other. So Salem, obviously a little bit closer to Corvallis, but Tyler, and there's Tess. Awesome. Good to see you guys. So we got Tyler, Tess, Andy is watching on YouTube. John George is here. I guess this is a good time to say, since we have all four of those folks are signed up for. I think you guys were all early bird signers for the proximity event, and I want to talk about that for just a minute because of the fact that I had some really big stuff happen just last week while I was down in YouTube. I had some really big news. And I'm not going to announce who it is yet because I'm confirming all the details right now. But for those of you that are coming to the proximity event, that's February 20th and 21st. Okay, so coming up here in just a few weeks. Those of you that are coming to the proximity event there in Portland, February 20th and 21st, I got a huge bonus for you. I got somebody that's coming in that is definitely going to be someone you are going to be very glad. So most of you guys would have had to pay quite a bit more money. In fact, exponentially more money to get in proximity to this guy. But somebody that's coming in, bringing his team with him, and we're going to do some really cool stuff. So that's going to be on the second day, on day 2, Friday of the proximity event. And if you guys are still interested in coming to that, if anybody's watching this right now and you're still interested in coming to that, as of today, as far as I know, I have 3 spots left at the table for the proximity event. So proximity is kind of based on the idea of just getting close quarters in with people that are doing, some of the things that you're wanting to do, but ahead of you, and also not just ahead of you, but wanting to reach back and pull people along with them. So there's a big difference. I want to say that for just a second. There's a huge difference between getting in the room with somebody who's ahead of you and getting in the room with somebody who's ahead of you and wants you to come up with them. Okay. Yeah. How many of you guys know that? Give me a thumbs up or something if you know there's a huge difference between being in proximity to the right kind of people. So we're going to be focusing on for 2 days. We're going to focus on proximity to people, to the right kind of people, proximity to power, and I'm going to explain what I mean by that, and then proximity to profits. Okay, so I think it's very important to understand what it is that we're getting in proximity to. So it's one thing to be in the room with somebody who's like, man, these people are like moving and shaking. They're doing all kinds of cool stuff. Yeah, that's great. And you can definitely learn some things. It's totally different when you're in a room full of people like that. And those people are they're specifically there to help you come to advance in your whatever it is you're doing, whether it's, in your business, in your own personal life, which by the way, we're going to cover both. It's going to be stinking awesome. I can't wait. I'm so pumped. But you guys are really going to be jacked whenever you find out who I've got coming in on Friday. That's day 2 of the proximity event. So if you're still interested in that, drop me a chat or shoot me a DM and I will get you the details on how you can get signed up. Next Tuesday, so a week from today, Tuesday Talks, I'm going to roll out some details about not just the proximity event, but what some of you that have signed up, what you can expect to get ongoing. So we're creating kind of a whole new community. Guys, there's so much cool stuff that we're going to be doing this year. We've been kind of letting you know, hey, there's big stuff coming, but when we say it, we mean it. There's some really cool stuff coming. So if you are interested in the proximity event and you want to know more about that, make sure you raise your hand or just post proximity in the chat here, or shoot me a DM directly and I will get back to you. Here's what I can say. Okay. So Thursday night, you guys know the third Thursday every single month, we have our PDX REI group meetup. We have a great time. We always have kind of about an even mix. It seems like every single month we have kind of the faithful people that come out. They're there every time. You can count on them. And then at least half or more of the crowd are brand new people. And this is, by the way, guys, this is without putting out any sponsored ads. We're not doing any marketing. We might do a little bit of that this year for this month, because I can say I've confirmed as of yesterday that I have, and this is thanks to Amy Adams. She's the one who kind of got this thing going. I had reached out to these guys about 2 years ago. We just weren't quite ready to do anything yet, and they were just launching too. But we have the guys that are coming up. The whole entire team is coming up to my PDX REI group meetup the third Thursday. So February 20th, we're going to be having the meetup, and the sponsors and the ones that are really going to be talking that night are going to be the guys that you guys probably obviously heard with Amy Adams, Pad Split, They're moving into the Portland market. We're breaking into this Portland market, and we're going to completely revolutionize the way that those of you that have buy and hold properties are able to do business. And there's so many cool things. By the way, guys, they've done this in Los Angeles, and if you think Portland is bad, you should try LA. Okay, so if you think that this can't work, believe me, it's already been tried and tested in markets that are harder even than the Portland market, and it is working, and it's working very well. And so I'm going to introduce the entire team to everybody on Thursday night. Let's get give me a whoop whoop or something in the chat, because if you guys are not aware of it, co-living is literally the future of buy and hold properties for a lot of people. Now, it may not be for everybody. I'm not saying go, get out of short term. I'm not saying midterm doesn't work. I'm not saying that long term doesn't work. What I'm saying is that for the most part, there's a huge shift that's happening. And because of a lot of eviction laws, because of the affordability of housing, because of how things are working out in a lot of markets, there is a shift going toward co-living. And if you guys follow Jamil Damji, you guys know Jamil and Pace have been talking about this forever. And so anyway, I've been online with those guys. They're coming in. They're going to bring in T-shirts. They're bringing in bling, all kinds of goodies and stuff like that. But the main thing is they're going to be showing us how we can set up our own properties in the Portland market, and why it is to your benefit to plan on doing some things like that. So if you guys are not regulars at the third Thursday PDX REI Group meetup, I would say you absolutely cannot afford to miss this month. So if you're going to make it to one meetup this month, make it out to this one in February 20th. Stop right now, okay? Put it on your calendar, mark it down, block it off, get a babysitter, do whatever you need to do so you can be out there, because it's going to be awesome. I think we're probably going to end up clearing out some of the tables and stuff so we can have more room for chairs, because it's going to probably be standing room only. And we really want to make sure that we give the team from Pad Split a warm welcome. So if you guys have somebody that you know that's in the real estate space, or somebody that maybe even has a rental that they've kind of that's been okay but hasn't really done great, you need to get them out to the meetup. That's this coming third Thursday, February 20th. It's going to be at the normal spot. If you guys don't know where that is, you can go back and look at some of the other events. But those of you that are signed up for the proximity event, that's how we're going to end the day. So we're starting Thursday morning at 10, and we're going to wrap up the day with that event on Thursday night. Start with dinner and everything else like that. And it's going to be awesome. So I just want to say that. So real quickly, I got a couple of other appointments I've got to get it ready to go to. So I got about 5 minutes left. I wanted to find out from you guys if you had any questions. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody in any of the chat? I'm going to check the chats again real quickly. Got a lot of cool stuff happening this month. In fact, it's going to be a crazy busy month. But if you had any particular wins, I'd love to have you share it, even if it's a little bit late right now. If you have any questions, I'd love to be able to try to answer that. And then if you are interested in the proximity event in Portland, that's going to be February 20th and 21st. Make sure you comment proximity, or just send me a DM and I'll get the information over to you. So I'm not seeing any questions come in. Looks like you guys are kind of slow today. Everybody must be working. They're like, John, we got work to do. We don't have time to sit around and ask you questions and stuff. So I know that Andy's out there remodeling 2 bathrooms right now. You guys make sure you hit him up. Bob is obviously, I know he's always working. He's got all kinds of cool stuff he's doing. Tess, I know that you're here in the Boise area. We should probably try to get together sometime if we can before the proximity event. It'd be nice to get to know each other here in town. And, if there's anything that I can help you guys with, I want you to reach out to me. My entire objective, just so you know, this year. So for the month of, for 2025, my goal, like one of my biggest purposes in doing these lives and everything, is to try to start bringing some of you that are in my space. Okay. And I'm not going to go out there and try to find all these brand new people. We've got 2,800 people in the PDX REI group. And I would love to see as many as possible, but realistically, in my mind, I'm shooting for 15 people. Okay. 15 people this year that I personally help move the needle in their business, where they actually advance, they get traction finally, or they finally get their first deal, or they finally break out of a slump. And so that's the whole reason why I'm doing this. So I'm just doing everything I possibly can. I said, I'm going to pull out all the stops. I'm going to do as much as I can. That's why we're starting off the year with the proximity event. And we're just going to use that as kind of a catalyst to launch into helping you guys get your real estate business up and running or moving forward, get the ball down the field a little bit longer, a little bit farther. And so if you guys could use some help, make sure you let me know. But I would say this, if you're not coming to the PDX REI group meetups on a regular basis, and if you're not posting questions in the PDX REI group space, Facebook group, then I'm going to ask you to do that first. Okay. So please be aware that if you guys are just like, I'm not looking to just help people that are just, suddenly going to start bombarding me with DMs. I'm saying, hey, we've got a community here that we've built out. We've got tremendous speakers. We had Bob Bosher come in a couple of years ago. In fact, I was just going through, I don't know if Bob's still on or not, but I was just going through Bob's presentation and his reviewing his notes that he did at our PDX REI group meetup a couple of years ago. There's so much good content in there from our speakers that we've had that I like to go back through and just kind of look through them again. So what I'm saying is you guys have a great community here. You need to start interacting with people. You need to get out of your comfort zone and start actually connecting with other people in the group. And I'm trying to do that even in my own business by saying I'm not using anybody. I'm not using subs. I'm not using handyman. I'm not using cleaners. I'm not using wholesalers. I'm literally only using people that are in the PDX REI group community because I want to do business with people I know, like, and trust. And so if you guys are in the PDX REI group, you need to make sure you're connecting. If you're in the TV REI group, we haven't put as much effort into that community yet because we're still kind of building out some things for that group, but feel free to post in there as well. And I just want to see you guys do really well this year. So looks like no more chats, no more posts. Tess said we'd love to get together. That'd be awesome. Okay, Tess, let's do that. Let's just connect and plan on that sometime next week. Get together here in the Boise area. By the way, if you guys are in Boise, make sure you look us up and let us know, that you're in. If you're coming in town, I would love to get a cup of coffee with you. But you guys get out there and kill it. Look forward to next Tuesday is a huge announcement. We're going to be rolling out a whole bunch of stuff, so make sure you block it off. And then again, put it on the calendar for the third Thursday of this month. You don't want to miss the Pad Split team coming up all the way up from Arizona. They're going to be showing us all the things that we need to know about co-living and how they have a great platform that helps roll it out very, very seamlessly if you guys are looking to get into that. So I appreciate you guys. Love you. Talk to you soon. And let me know if you have any questions about the proximity event. DM me or post a comment here. Take care.